a Harvard Law graduate, 40-something years old, 2 young daughters, in the Senate for only 2 years, who thinks he can be president. I could be describing you. I could be describing Barack Obama.
True enough, but I think there are a lot more notable differences between us than the similarities.
That is true, but...
that is true, but... Then why'd you bring it up? Why'd you bring it up? He's not Barack Obama. Welcome to Gimme 5. Ted Cruz knocked it out of the park on Sunday against Dana Bash on CNN. She tried. Well, you have no experience. You did nothing in the Senate, blah, blah, blah. Watch.
You know, one of the key things that we're already hearing is you don't have a lot of experience when it comes to being in federal office or being in office at all, and that you're too young and too inexperienced for the job.
Oh, they'll get him any way they can. You're too young and inexperienced. You have no experience. Yeah, I know I wasn't a community organizer. Now watch him give her an education.
Well, you know, Dan, I think there are really two sharp distinctions between where I am today and where Barack Obama was when he launched his campaign. Number one, in his time in the Senate, he had basically been a backbencher. He had not been leading on issues of any significance. In my time in the Senate, you can accuse me of being a lot of things, but a backbencher is not one of them.
Yep, there you go. Now, then she said, but you passed no legislation. He pointed out that he co-sponsored 2 pieces which did pass, one which passed unanimously the House and Senate, which prohibited the Iranian designate ambassador to the United States or to the UN from entering the country. And that passed and the president signed it. But as Cruz pointed out to her, how could he have passed legislation? How could he have gotten anything? Harry Reid never brought up legislation. Harry Reid wouldn't have allowed anything sponsored by Ted Cruz to come to the floor for a vote. And she knows that. Here's more.
That may be true, but the big criticism of President Obama, especially as the years have gone on, is that he didn't have any experience in an executive function. He didn't run any organization, and the same can be said about you. What experience do you have to be Commander-in-Chief of the United States military, for example?
All right. Did Dana Bash or anyone at CNN ask this of President Obama? This is what it is. This is what you have to expect. President Obama compared to Ted Cruz? My God, there is absolutely no comparison. Although both are minorities, we should point that out. But you don't get treated like a minority candidate for president if you're a Republican minority candidate for president. I think that's been established over and over and over again. Starting with Alan Keyes, who we had on yesterday, who was the first black Republican, if I'm not mistaken, to run for president. This is back in the 90s, maybe 92, maybe around 92. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Now I don't remember. My point is, he didn't count. You think they made a big deal about him? Nobody even covered the press conference on a national level when he announced. So here's Cruz. Listen to this.
Well, unlike Barack Obama, I was not a community organizer before I was elected to the Senate. I spent 5.5 years as the Solicitor General of Texas, the chief lawyer for the state of Texas in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. I supervised and led every appeal for the state of Texas in a 4,000-person agency with over 700 lawyers. And over the course of 5.5 years, over and over again, Texas led the nation, defending conservative principles and winning.
Yeah, just like Barack Obama. Yeah, argued before the Supreme Court, was in charge of... Yeah, he was in charge. He was in charge of rabble-rousing as a community organizer. And by the way, Dana, are you now saying that President Obama was unqualified to be president of the United States? Because if you're saying there's no difference really between Cruz and Obama, then what are you saying? You're obviously saying Cruz isn't ready, Cruz isn't qualified, Cruz doesn't have the experience. Are you saying that's the case about Obama too, or was? There is no comparison between the two. Apples and oranges. Your Newsmax Now updates next.